we say the words small Ford SUV, you probably won't be thinking of the car behind me. You'll likely be thinking of the Ford Puma, and quite rightly so, because it was the single best-selling car in the UK in 2023, and the Ecosport is not. We're going to be brutally honest with you here. The Puma is better to drive, more economical, more spacious, more comfortable, and better equipped. But this car is cheaper, and cheaper in 2024 is a really big deal. Plus, it has some more off-roadery styling, which will appeal to some. What's more, even though both models are based on the Ford Fiesta, the Ecosport is based on an older Fiesta produced between 2008 and 2018, rather than the newer Fiesta, which is what gives its mechanical bits to the Puma. That's partly because the Ecosport was sold between 2013 and 2023, and the Puma only came along in 2019. The engines are mainly the 1-litre 3-cylinder turbocharged with 100, 125 or 140 horsepower. There are some diesels, but they're quite rare. There's not very many of those around. And the petrols, they're pretty responsive, but they miss out on the modern mild hybrid technology. Another important point is that the Ecosport was designed and developed by Ford in Brazil, primarily with the South American market in mind. So there should be a bit more of a focus on robustness and longevity, especially considering the less developed road networks in South America. But what does that mean in practice? Well, it means that the interior feels a bit more rough and ready. There are some soft touch materials here and there, but overall it's got a bit of a utilitarian vibe and, you know, just wipe it clean kind of vibe, which is great for families actually. It feels a lot less luxurious than a Ford Puma and most of its rivals, but it definitely feels robust. Plus, as long as you buy a post-2017 car, you get this fairly decent 8-inch touchscreen, which is reasonably responsive and intuitive. It also comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard. The pre-facelift cars get a much smaller screen and a scattergun of buttons. What you also get in the Ecosport, and you'll probably only really be interested in this if you're a bit of a car nerd, is a lot of switchgear from older Fords, like this here, and the gear knob. Z-Tech trim cars come reasonably well equipped with air conditioning, steering wheel mounted audio controls and a quick clear heated windscreen, as all Fords do. But titanium trim level brings a lot more goodies, including automatic headlights, cruise control, an automatically dimming rear view mirror, ambient lighting, climate control and a reversing camera. Then there's this, the more sporty ST line, which is essentially a titanium with some cosmetic upgrades here and there. There's also the rare active trim line, which adds leather upholstery and some exterior chunky touches. And one thing that's also common to all Ecosports is this lofty driving position where you sit really quite perched up, which gives you great visibility. It's one of the things that people often buy SUVs for, yet so few small SUVs actually achieve this. But we're giving with one hand and taking away with another in this review, because I'm going to complain now. It's quite a narrow car and you have very little shoulder room, and the centre console kind of encroaches into your personal space. The same is true in the back seats. Thanks to the narrow compact platform, there's just not all that much space. The rear bench is also rather flat, so if you happen to be sitting back here by yourself or with just one other person, you might find yourself sliding around when you go around corners, but at least there's loads of headroom. Another consequence of the Ecosport's compact dimensions is that it doesn't offer all that huge boot space. 334 litres is your lot. And while that's a little more than you'll get in a Fiesta, pretty much every small SUV out there that isn't an Ecosport offers more luggage capacity. This side hinged tailgate is a neat nod to old school off-roaders. The only tricky bit about it is if you've parked in a car park or someone's parked too close behind you, and then getting things in and out can be a little bit tricky. The tall body of the Ecosport means you pay a bit of a price on the road, and that is there's quite a lot of body roll in the corners. However, being a Ford, the steering is responsive and the gear change is slick. In our written review of this car, it says that it's a bit like driving a Fiesta from the top of a ladder, and I'm going to steal that line because it's rather suiting. You might hope with all that body lean, that soft suspension would equal decent ride comfort, but unfortunately the EcoSport can feel surprisingly firm and jarring, even on relatively smooth roads. That being said, as long as you don't expect to have too much fun, then the EcoSport is easy to drive and it's reasonably economical no matter what engine you've got under the bonnet. Being painfully frank, the EcoSport isn't the most brilliant car. It's quite cramped, it doesn't really feel that upmarket, and it's not great to drive. However, it does have some things going for it. It's cheap, it looks like a proper off-roader, and it's got the most high-set driving position of any small SUV out there. So it could still be on your shortlist. And if it really doesn't float your boat, there are plenty of other small SUVs for sale, and indeed any other type of car on the Motorpoint website. And if you check out the Motorpoint YouTube channel, hit like, subscribe, bell icon so that you catch all of our latest reviews.